What is the scariest thing you have heard happen to you on the internet? I was like in 8th grade when a group of kids showed me a video of someone's head being cut off. The victim was still alive when this was happening. He was being cut with a medium-sized knife, so it took a while for the man's head to be fully cut off. It was horrific seeing the man in such distress. When I was in college, in my forensics class, a student decided to show a liver leak cartel decapitation video with a pocket knife for his project presentation. There was no warning or anything, he just showed it thinking there would be no issue. The professor and rest of the class were pretty upset with him. I was not prepared to see that in class that day, and that video still disturbs me to this day. I was in 7th grade when I saw an ISIS execution. I'm stunned by how unaffected I was by it. Literally watched it without emotion. You be lucky that you haven't seen your first cartel video. My first exposure to cartel killings was the Funky Town video. I'm currently trying to find this video talking about some mystery that a YouTuber was trying to solve, except he wasn't very popular so nobody was keeping up with it. The narration itself was chilling, but the last message he found was linked to some ye old English type stuff, leading him somewhere to the northwestern part of the UK. The guy was from somewhere on that landmass, can't remember where. Anyways, the last message had letters with different colors. If you took all the yellow ones it spelled out "I'm so lonely" or something similar, but the guy didn't know this. A couple days later, only one body was found in a field in that area, but the question remained whether it was that YouTuber or a potential killer that had been killed in self-defense. Whoa man, that's weird. Let us know when you find it. One time I was looking for some sort of motivation to quit smoking cigarettes on Google, but somehow I stumbled on some forums and there was a thread about people who felt like they were being followed. Like, an example, some woman said she dropped her wedding ring down the kitchen sink and couldn't retrieve it. Then years later, after moving to a different house, she was home alone and found it on her floor. That's quite a rabbit hole you went down. I had an experience like that once, and years later I still think about how it could have logically happened. So bizarre. I wouldn't assume people were following me though. In this case, there is no logical explanation. This is downright creepy. My friends and I once found a website with a challenge where you had to watch a series of videos each worse than the last, and if you made it all the way to the last video you won. It was videos of people dying, suicides, maggots crawling on corpses, etc. Very disturbing stuff. I felt sick the whole time. I completed the challenge, but I didn't feel like a winner. Some people have reminded me that the challenge is called Run the Gauntlet if anyone is feeling particularly brave. Ahahaha. I only recall the milder version, with broken limbs and mild deaths and such. Still turned it off in the middle, so maybe I just didn't reach the gory parts. Just the entire spectrum of creepy people encountered during online gaming. This is why I play video games by myself. *I''M*SOL only. Hey buddy, I got an idea. Let's be lonely apart. Gamers are an interesting society. The worst I've encountered was a guy who was asking pictures of my feet. That's not that bad. I mean, ick now, don't do anything that makes you uncomfortable, but as far as bad experiences go, hi, can I see X innocuous part of your body is pretty low on the list. Once I met this guy on road, meaning literally on road. I was driving, and he was driving. Couple of times his car was unnecessary closer, and also there were those honkings. I sped and took a different turn and come home. There is this message from him on Messenger saying I didn't accept the message. Geez, that's some next level stuff right there. You made the right choice by not accepting it. If you accepted, hey sweetheart, your left blinker is broken. Just thought you might want to know. Have a nice day. In what wildly alternate reality do you live? I want to be there. It sounds nice. When I look up my boyfriend's name on Facebook, it shows two profiles. His real profile, and another one that he swears he didn't make. The profile picture is a school photo of him. It has no other pics, and no friends, posts, or other info. It states that he attended local high school and graduated from local college in 2016. In reality, he attended local college and was supposed to graduate in 2016, but dropped out. It's not as scary as a lot of other things in this thread, but it creeps me out a little every time I see it. I have an answer to this one. So I was playing Dead by Daylight, a multiplayer game on Steam. For those of you who don't know, it's a 4-player on one game, so when you're playing on the 4-player side, there is a pre-game lobby where you can chat with your teammates. One day, when I joined a lobby for the 4-player team, someone I had never met typed the most horrifying thing into the chat. Hi Rachel, this person was not on my friends list, and even if they were I did not give my first name out on Steam. I panicked so hard I alt F4'd away, so I don't know their name. I once saw my first and last name on Reddit when I was scrolling through a post and freaked out thinking someone had asked me. The sub was up in arms trying to get me fired from my job and ruin my life. Turns out they had asked another user for being a racist online who just happened to have the same name as me. I only figured out when I went back to the original comment and read the replies and noticed that the person they were after lived in another country. Damn shame there's another person walking around with my name soiling it. Years and years ago, I talked to this girl one time for 5 minutes out of pure boredom. I didn't have any interest beyond that conversation, and no numbers or anything was exchanged. She only knew my first name and school district as it came up in that short convo. This was a time when that wasn't usually enough to find someone's social media through just a search. Stalks me down anyways. Messages me like we are gonna go on a date. Clingy teenage girls are scary AF. I was on Omegle, and I matched W this girl. I was W my friend and the chick was all like, oh can I talk to Nick, which is my name, and I was like UHH how, do you know my name? Then she sent me my friend's address that I was at. Then we freaked out, and the computer froze on what looked like a demon. Then the camera changed to a guy dressed up as a cop sitting at a desk. My friend slammed his laptop screen down after that, but it was definitely the weirdest thing I've seen. Had an ex-GF who I met online. We never met IRL, and she never met my family. In a hoe, she was acting weird, so I decided it would be best to call it off, so I did. Keep in mind this was before Facebook was a thing. Proceed to a week after I ended it, she had somehow gotten in touch with my mom, aunt, and cousin trying to get them to convince me to take her back. I have no idea how she got their number, but I strayed from AOL for a while. Improbably scared this guy the other day. I was looking for a match to help in a mission for Division 2. This guy joins the group AMD. We go through the mission. After the mission I messaged him and he said I replied I was say thank you. We got to talking more, and turns out his name was Ty. So, his heart dropped when some random person messaged him and called him by his name. While I was browsing Reddit, my computer began to play a loud static noise. It went on, and I pulled up the audio manager thing, where you could see what tasks are making noise, and none of the tasks that were running were making any noise. I closed my Reddit tab and the noise stopped. When I did that, I was shaken up as it was sudden and the house was quiet, but that was definitely a scary experience for me. Someone messaged me my real name, address, etc. on Merc back in the day. What seemed like a perfect stranger. In retrospect it was really probably a random classmate pulling a prank, but I was solidly freaked out and thought I was gonna be murdered. There never was a follow-up message though. If it was a prank it was a lousy one. They could've done so much more. I was really young, like maybe 7 to 9 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was on the sword fighting tournament game on Roblox, and this other dude and I were trying to outspam each other in the chat logs. This guy dressed in expensive clothing says something in the chat, and I quickly pause to see what he says. Continue and I will fry your outer. I stopped. I found a site with a forum for aspiring mermen. One of the posts was made by someone who had been following advice on the forum, such as holding your breath underwater, presumably in a tub, for X amount of time. Someone replied with advice like, when you run out of air, you just need to breathe in and stay under. I'm afraid people may have killed themselves on that site. I was bidding on eBay and the item that it was on sale ended up costing me around $300, but then I realized I needed the money to pay rent, so I sent a message to the dude and explained the situation. He wasn't responding, so I freaked out and canceled my eBay account. I know it wasn't the smartest play, but to be fair I was pretty dumb. Probably last year when my depression hit its worst ever, and I started googling for suicide poisons at work, and realized just how far it had gone, and decided to get professional help. I hope you're in a better place now, and FWIW I'm really glad you realized you needed help and sort it. Not the scariest thing in the world, but when I was 12 I was watching cartoons on my computer and this pop-up ad comes up, and I accidentally clicked it, and it takes me to this dating website and there is a live video of a woman taking into me. Of course she couldn't hear or see me, but still scary stuff for a 12-year-old. Being the internet newbie for the first time in 2007 or something, I got exposed to gore scares a few times. It really scarred me for a better part of the next 3 to 6 months. It's not like I acted like the maze scare compilations you seen on YouTube, but internally I felt like the way they acted. I learned that the Russians convinced me to vote for Trump. I've been haunted by this for months. I don't know how to handle it. What do you mean with that? Sorry, but I am not American. I can't figure out what you are talking about. Could you explain, please? This triggered this. Got banned from Club Penguin and the email was sent to my parents. Need to do this with modern games. Imagine getting banned for cheating in CSGO and Valve calls her parents to let them know how much of a no-life their son is. Oh no. How many minutes was it in the bad boy corner? Previously when I was on Instagram I got 3 texts from 3 different dudes saying, "Hey babe, do you remember me?" At the same time. Probably bunch of idiot friends messing around with me. I got so freaked because I didn't even knew who TF they were. I reported all of them though. I've received a few hundred it feels like death threats from Soluces after StarCraft 2nd games. I've also gotten some rather well done fake emails from supposed debt collectors and the like. All in all, nothing out of the ordinary, really. Things I got myself into when I was around 12. It's a long and deep story, but I got in to stuff number 12-year-old should, because of some emotional issues. Do not let your kids on chat sites for teens.